Hey, what's up guys, Young Dragon here, and I welcome you all again to my Payday 2 Armory. For today's video, I'll be cover up a one of more iconic weapons, and it's still been used today even though it's been over a century. The American M1911 pistol. Of course, in this in-game will be called the Crosskill pistol. And of course, was designed by John Browning, one of the more famous weapon designers in the world. He made a lot of weapons. He made the Model 1887 shotgun, the the M1997 trench gun, made the Browning automatic rifle or bar, the Browning M1919, and most other Browning machine guns, and a few lever action rifles. He's just an amazing weapon designer. But we're more focused specifically on the M1911 itself, or usually they call it 1911, but to me I always like to call it the M1911 because it just fits well. So as we look at the stats, we have a magazine capacity of 10, which is actually inaccurate. It's supposed to be a 7-round single stack magazine, or sometimes 8 if you get one in the chamber and load up with a new, fresh 7 rounds. I will go over to the extended mags in quite a bit. Then we have a total of ammo of 90, rate of fire of 361 RPM, damage of 65, accuracy of 68, stability 52, concealment 29, fret of 10, and reload time of 2.1 second. So this is more of a medium damage pistol, and well, it's actually looked pretty damn solid just for the base stats. Although I do think it's mostly get outperformed and outclassed by other medium damage pistols, especially that they can able to have extended mags without losing concealment penalty, unlike the M1911, which sadly, if you pull extended mags, you do lose concealment, which sucks if you're trying to go for a crits build or a dodge build. Now, this particular model, or this particular M1911, is actually called the Springfield Armory 1911 MC Operator. So this is more of a modern take on the classic M1911. And you can see how very shiny and chrome it is. Of course, this was used by, well, United States during, of course, it was used by the United States Army during the First World War, Second World War, then followed by many other conflicts, especially the Prohibition era, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and the Cold War. Still goes on until it essentially gets replaced during in 1975. Gets usually replaced by the M9 pistol, which I will cover up why they mostly how the M9 replaced the M1911 in the M9 video. But we're talking about the M19 itself. So as we look over the model, of course we have our externally fretted barrel at the you see at the very of course at the very tip, and you can see see there's little rings of it, so you can actually screw up any barrel extension or suppressors you want. And it has a accessory rail at basically the bottom, which is usually also a little bit of a free Picatinny rail to mount gadgets at the bottom. Of course, you have your little hammer release button on top. Then the magazine release is this little button here, just close to the trigger. That's how you release the mag. Of course, we have the pistol grip, which has 2 screws in to hold the, of course, the pistol grip itself. Then we have now we see the hammer on the pistol at the very back. You can see this little hammer pretty much at the back of the gun, which it was kind of lacking on the Glock series. And on the right side, well, I do have to say, also it says the .45 ACP, which is the 45 caliber it fires. So it's a little more, supposed to be more heavier and powerful shot than the 9mm. And then it says, we got a few writings here, if I can read it. It says, I'm reading the, right next to the pistol grip, basically the lower receiver, which is the Crosskill Tactical NY USA, which I presume this was actually where it was made, in New York. Of course, it says, looks like a serial number, or where it was mostly designed, and it says 2012, so I presume this weapon was made in 2012, and I think before the Payday got his hands on it, maybe just a few, maybe by a year later, the Payday gang has basically acquired this weapon, since this is a weapon that you have at launch. And it says the Crosskill Operator 2. I think this is just a particular variant. I think this is just the M1911 2 variant of some sort. And then we have on here, which says the where the bolt is, where the chamber is. And if I can read it here, it says danger, exhaust ports, read manual. And of course we have the night sights on these pistols, which the original M1911s did not have. So these white dots are supposed to be useful in the dark, but with all of them so close, it makes it almost harder to see, even at dark. They kind of blind the player's, the shooter's eye. So the one that should make sense, it's probably either have one front post, have the front post sight have the night sight, while the other two mostly shouldn't have it. That's just how it goes. As we look over the attachments, of course you can put on any accessories. It has their own unique attachments. It has the aggressor compensator, which increases damage, stability, minus concealment, and increase 1 fret. It also has the Punisher compensator, which increase damage, stability, minus concealment, and increase more fret. So looks a little different. You can put any boost you want, any gadget you want, so we can see how the gadget would look like. Let's see the you can see that's where the accessory rail will latch onto. Looks pretty good. Now let's try on a much bigger one. Let's try the let's try out the pocket laser. You can see this is where it fits, just perfectly on that size, and then combined module, which is much more bigger. So that's where you mount your gadgets. The grips is a little more different. You have the Ergo Grip, Bling Grip, and the Engraved Crosskill grips, which of course both of this grip and the Ergo Grip are basically increased for stability, but you have a different appearance. So this one supposed to make it more comfortable with your hands, and they give it a little more grooving with the grip, so it makes it more comfortable where you place your hands. And the in guard is just there for a much more, well, a more classier look, more for people who have bling in their taste. So we see it looks like it has a skull on that side, and I think we're soon the other one as well. So kind of cool. I mean, it definitely looks more stylish to have than the Ergo Grip, because, well, it just looks kind of looks ugly, but this actually looks beautiful. Now the Bling Grip, which, funny enough, you don't lose stability, so that's, or don't lose concealment, so that's good. But this one, you do lose stability, but you gain accuracy, and this makes it almost like the classic M1911 style right here at this type of grip. This looks beautiful. I just wish the color would have been a lot more blue with the, well, with a more chrome look, but pretty damn nice. And you see the screws are a different color. Now as for the magazine, we've got two different types, but of course we have the 12 round mag and the magazine with a miritude, where this will increase 6 rounds, but you lose 1 concealment. But this one you increase it to 12 rounds, you get stability, but minus 2 concealment. And of course, this requires a gauge Spec Ops pack. But as for the magazine itself, for the 12 round, now in real life, this would not really make the weapon into a, it says on Wikipedia, similarly the 12 round mag does not set the magazine of the weapon to 12, contrary to its name. Instead, the magazine adds 6 rounds. Yeah, on the contrary, this would actually, in real life, now, even though it did say it adds an extra 12 rounds, or 12 round mag, that's the actual name of this magazine. It's supposed to hold 12 rounds, as opposed to 16. Because it will be impossible to have 16 mag in this. And it kind of makes sense due to the 45 caliber, so if you get like 7 or 8 rounds, let's say you get 8 rounds. You know, 1 in the chamber and 7 in the mag, and then when you have this kind of mags, I could picture myself by adding at least 4 more bullets into the mag, so you would have an actual 12 round mag and not a 16 round mag. It just wouldn't work. After all, this is a game where logic's been thrown on the way, but I just like to point it out, which I would think a 12 round mag would be much more appreciated than a 12 round mag. Especially they should make buff certain ways, at least give it a little bit more damage to make up for it. And then we have the sights. Now of course this one has a more unique feel to the sights, such as a marksman sight, which also apply to the Desert Eagle and the M9, and you may recognize these style of iron sights. You will see these a lot on SMGs and shotguns. You've seen these on the AUG, the P90, the Striker even, and also the Sega 12. It's the exact same iron sights, and of course you have increased accuracy and stability, and you have the, well, pistol sight, which somehow it just fits magically on top on the gun, which doesn't look that appealing, especially for a weapon that's 100, almost over 100 century. And then we have different slides. So we have a vintage slide and a long vintage slide. So a vintage slide is just much more classier silver look, and you can see at the top it's kind of changed. There's like a little bit yellow, including basically the bolt, and you can actually see the ejector port. See a little bit inside the gun. You can actually see the barrel with that yellow, dirtier look. And then we have the long vintage slide, which is a much more larger gun of looks. And you can see it's increased 1 damage, minus 4 accuracy, increased stability, and increased threat. While the long vintage slide increased damage, accuracy, stability, but minus concealment. And by the, oh, let me get rid of this stupid mag. Alright, now by the looks of this, that color of this M1911 reminds me of the dual pistols that's been rocking on Lara Croft, her signature weapons in the older classic Tomb Raider games. So that's kind of cool, I guess, detail with it, but it just looks nice. And of course, I have, of course, the Kimbo versions as well, which, of course, increase their magazine by 20, tail of ammo of 100, rate of fire 361, damage 65, accuracy 68, accuracy of 52 or 16, concealment of 27, threat of 4, and reload time of 4 seconds. Of course, I do have a fully decked out M1911, which is all the way over here, if I could find it. Here it is. You can see the stats looks much better. May not be the best looking M1911, but you can tell from the stats. I mean, still, 22 concealment is still not bad. Even though I have fully decked out this weapon to increase other stats overall. Pretty insane. And of course I could do the same thing with the, well, Kimmel versions. Which are literally the same thing. I think I have a few differences in stat. Well, I'm not sure what's the difference. Oh, that's right. I don't have the iron sights or the that increase more, you know, accuracy and stability. So that's what they look like. So these are most of my two fully decked out M1911s. Also, since the Italians love the M1911 so much, they went ahead and have put 2 to 2 together in the form of the AF 2011. So you could basically have an M1911, two of them in one hand. And honestly, that's brilliant. And depends which trigger you're firing, either from the left side or the right side, you will still fire both barrels. So I would love to see the AF 2011 to appear for Payday 2. Hopefully wherever this next, whenever we have more information on the newer heist that we head to San Francisco. But that's all just, I can always dream about it. But anyway, enough talking. Let's head to the firing range. Hey, welcome back guys to the firing range. Well, not really much of a firing range like I keep saying it, but that's the best I can do, especially on console. So we have the M1911 and you can see how shiny this weapon looks, especially when you hit the right lighting like the sun. You can see how chrome look this weapon is, and it's really one of the most beautiful pistols I see with the chrome look. I think this has come close to the Black Ops 1 M1911. Now that's a classic pistol. And you can tell, well, let me just load this up before we get to fire it. Of course you can see the iron sights. You can see the night sights. Pretty, I mean, still look okay. It's still a little bit blurry, but still, it's really hard to see by the front post sight, especially if you don't have a very high, a lot of accuracy. But well, let's get to shooting. It has a very tight grouping, and I see one bounce off to the right and one at the top, but mostly it's staying in one spot, so it does its job for, I'm not sure how much accuracy I see in the base stats, but now we're going to test it out and see. I'll try to fire it as fast as I can. Of course, also bear in mind, I don't have any pistol skills on. The only thing I had the skill is just increase more ammo, which shouldn't really affect the weapon's stats overall. So I'll try to fire as fast as I could, but remember this fires at 361 RPM, or a much better word, 360 RPM. Well, you can see where it kicks up a little bit up and mostly to the right. It almost forms of a question mark. So that's actually quite interesting. I actually made a question mark out of the gun. Alright, now for test 2, where I'm trying to control it. With a low rate of fire, shouldn't have no problem. Alright, going hot. I think more preferably, it's just... Let me just try again, and... It looks much worse this time around. I try to go up and down, but it's just really hard to control with just one M1911. Well, now let's bring out the double M1911s. Instead of firing a 45 ACP, it will be a 90 ACP. Here we go with the Mustang and Sally. Okay, very interesting grouping, especially when I fired the first two shots. One was up and one was down, so it was a little more interesting. So it was definitely quite odd to have one weapon, you know, one bullet down here and one bullet up here, just by having both of these weapons aiming from side to side. Alright, now I'll try to see how this weapon is a truly monster when you just let the recoil go flow. Going hot. Okay, another almost interesting thing, but I almost make it like a shovel. Like a shovel pattern, like a shape. If I just have one more dot here, maybe somewhere around here, it almost looks like a shovel. That's actually quite interesting. I made like a ring at the top, then a stick at the handle in the middle, and almost form a triangle shape, like a shovel. Alright, now we have the... me trying to control it. Okay, really shouldn't come to no surprise. It's far from a little bit. It's pretty much a little bit easier to control, or trying to control it. And normally, I just really don't. I mean, normally I would be able to control full auto weapons more easily, but with single fire weapon that does kick high, it's a little bit more of a challenging. So they're still very powerful pistols. Don't get me wrong. They're still good. But let's see how a fully decked out pistols I have work well. See you in a second, guys. Hey, welcome back, guys, to my two fully decked out M1911. One for the solo version and one for the Kimbo versions. Now let's see the iron sights. You can see the iron sights are still the same, except they're a little bit more, well, wider compared to the original sights. And of course, they do have night sights, but it's still pretty difficult, very blurry what the iron sights are. But, well, let's test out the results, if it's actually better. For a single fire group, this is a really good tight group. It fits so well, just close together. So it's pretty good tight group for single shots. Now let's see how fast I can try to shoot this thing. Okay, even I spam so much shots, it seemed the grouping is still there. I think one bullet does hit the top a little bit, but in terms of the grouping, it's a lot better. Alright, now the test 2, I'm just trying to see how the recoil is with all these attachments stacked together. you can see the result. It just looks like test 1, where I was testing out the recoil profile and the grouping, but this one, the recoil is non-existent basically. It hits all the shots in the middle, and I think what helps is because of the rate of fire I have, which makes it even more helpful. Now, I don't know test 3 I should even do test 3 just for the sake of seeing how low the recoil was, but I'll try to do my best to see what it's like to try to control this thing, even though it has like perfectly no recoil. Okay, for most part, I wasn't really much trying, and at most part, I do. You can see I try it a little bit low, and it looks like I just... It almost looks like I made a person with one arm open up in the air, and one, lost a hand, and showing me my great accomplishment of this M1911 I made. Alright, now we have the 2 M1911s. Of course, the differences are, I have the ergo grip for these two akimbo here, while I have the Bling Grip for the solo version, so this might affect differently, especially that's the skills I have, so I'm gonna say the results will be different. But anyway, let's test these out. Going hot. For a single fire grouping, it's still pretty awful. I still see the 4 bullet grouping like the single solo versions, but the Akimbo one, since its visibility is bad, it kicks up quite a bit. It's almost formed like the shovel again, which I think it was only I think it was the solo version that does that. Alright, now try and finish it off with the full auto. Yep, it really shows that it just kicks up so much. So of course the grouping is still not impressive, especially that you kick a little bit up. Although having the recoil going up is still a good thing, where if you aim at a cop at the chest level, and once your gun raises up, one of those few bullets definitely gonna hit in the head. So you're definitely gonna take that to your advantage. So if you have a weapon that has like a little bit of a high recoil but do a lot of damage, try and usually aim for the chest and not much in the head, because if you try to aim for the head and that recoil goes up, like up, you're mostly going to miss a lot of shots, which is not a good thing, especially that the M1911 does have a very good ammo pickup, but not the best in this class. Anyway, test 2. Let's see how these things goes without me controlling the recoil. Of course, very interesting, the recoil doesn't really go high as much, so it does have a very standard recoil for the for akimbo weapons, especially that these are a little more powerful, so it's not really meant to be the more controllable recoil of the pistols. But now let me try to do this with me like test 2, except I'm controlling the recoil this time. Going loud. I hope that's all the ammo. Well, same mag, but well, out of ammo. But now it looked like I made Excalibur out of this shit out of it, a crappier Excalibur, where this could easily be pulled out of a shittier rock. But yeah, I tried to control it, and you can see it went down a little bit. Most of it goes up, but that's mostly, and of course, it's somewhere in the middle before the bullet's gone. A lot of the bullets hit right in the middle, mainly because I go down, but the weapon kicks up, so it makes up for it. So that's basically about it with these M1911s I have to show you. Now to my final conclusion. See you in a sec. Overall, I think the M1911 was a really good pistol at its time at the launch of 2013, but due to, later updates when they add more pistol to the arsenal, the M1911 is supposed to get dethroned quite a lot by a few other pistols. Usually by the USP-45, the P226, even the Springfield or Leo pistol, which they do way better. They have way better concealment in terms of loading up lots of other attachments, and also the extended mags for certain pistols. You don't lose any concealment. The M1911 does. So let's compare to the other medium damage pistols that is offered. In terms of the P226, this is the base stats. It's literally the same thing, except this one has 2 more rounds. But guess what? You can actually increase more with the extended mags. So most of it, you don't really lose much concealment with this pistol. USP-45, a bigger magazine, 1 extra ammo, same stats, except for fret and reload time, but there are like minor differences. And then we have the Glock 22, and by the looks of it, it's similar to the USP-45, except with a much larger magazine, a lot more ammo, which I don't know who come up with these balances for these pistols, but it's crazy. Then we have the HKP-30 pistol, and it's even much better. It has a extra 1 more damage, somehow. It has more stability, and of course, a bigger magazine. And then here's a Leo pistol. It has more magazine, more ammo, and guess what? The extended mags, you don't lose concealment. And who gives a damn about the fret too? Look at the difference! Like, how can you balance this shit? Like, what? Like, seriously, this is I know this is a paid pistol on PC, but that's laughable. It's so laughable that the M1911 just keep getting turn off or get turned on by the other pistols that keep coming in. It's ridiculous. Like, I would choose between either the P226, the USP-45, the P-30 pistol, and heck, even the Leo pistol. Funny enough, 3 out of 4 of these, or even the Glock 22 pistols, where is it? Here, is also even better. And almost all of them are European pistols. You got like 3 or 4 pistols made in freaking Germany. Which, German engineering is a beautiful thing. You have one made in Austria, and you also have one pistol made in a mix of US and Croatia, which is the Leo pistol. But I'm betting more money on Croatia right there. But still, for M1911, it's just... I'm not saying it's a bad weapon. It just gets outshined in the others in its class. If I would have to give it a buff, considering the caliber it fires, I know some may fire 45 SAP as well, but if they make the magazine a lot more different, like have it a 7 or 8 rounds and have the 12 round mag an actual 12 rounds, then for sure increase the damage and give it a damage pistol as opposed to the other ones where they're normally set around 60 to almost 70 damage. I think this would be a much proper balance for this pistol. It would, considering that the other ones have a much bigger magazine capacity, and I don't think any of them are 10 rounds. Like, for real. None of them are a freaking 10 round mag. Some of them are just larger. From 12, from 13, from 14 to 15 to 16. This one's only a 10 rounds. And most other ones have much more larger mag. And I would say the same thing with the Kimmel version as well, so I'm not gonna compare it to all of it. It's still a fun gun, but it's just get outshined by everything else. And it sucks too because other base weapons get some love, like the Sega 12. I mean, sure, this pistol did get a larger magazine capacity, but doesn't really help that the other pistol just outperforms it better in terms of the concealment department. So yeah, I do barely use this pistol, but I cannot deny its legacy. That's what it's got going for, is this incredible legacy it's going for, and it's still been used through the world still today. Thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, when I'll be finally covering a sniper rifle. Until then, farewell, and have a wonderful day, everyone.